That's right.
You're good.
Okay.
I think it's more.
I think-
Start off the meeting. You can make an announcement.
Yeah. Could you please, anybody who's on the, who's on the Zoom call, could you please mute your,
Just muted them.
oh, you muted it? Okay. Very good. All right, let's- Go.
Yes.
Okay. We did the pledge of allegiance?
Yes.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Seems like we have a very simple agenda. Get the pledge. We want to do this
I think we could, yeah, we could take it from here.
when you're doing.
Yeah, a meeting that you don't need to speak too much at. You're welcome to speak at any point in time. So, you know, we as a board wanted to come together and acknowledge, Gary and certainly Claire, for their dedication and sacrifice. And, we thought this would be, we thought this would be a fitting venue to do this before, the end of your term, which is Monday. So we put a few words together and Harvey did some incredible legwork to get something to memorialize that dedication. So I'm just going to read it because I'm not good at running off the cuff. So almost 40 years ago, the story of West Hampton Dunes began when the ocean cut Dune Road in half. After years of neglect and homes began falling into the sea. Many lost their homes and all hope. Against all odds, a group of residents led by Gary Bigliante banded together, founded an organization called the BBPA, and began the fight to get their homes and lives back. This would become the modern day version of David and Goliath. With faith, courage, and trust in each other, Gary led the charge to unite the residents who lost everything. Going door to door, passing the hat to raise money, sue the federal government for negligence to rebuild what was lost. Some gave and some did not. So some said this will never work. You will never win. Despite headwinds and naysayers and against the odds, they won. But that was only the beginning. You won the court order and the independence from Southampton town, but now came the real test to rebuild. With a 3-year-old son, Gary Jr., Claire pregnant with Colette, you would disappear for days and weeks to buy materials and equipment, bring it back here and literally rebuild Dune Road. You had help. Joe Prokop in the room, Bruno Capiti, George Asom, Charlie Brown, Bob Strecker, to name a few. These men rebuilt what was taken from the residents of this area. And that's the definition of sacrifice and dedication. But it didn't stop there. Gary would be elected 8 times, stood to watch over the dunes for 31 years, nurturing the village to what it is today, a vibrant, thriving community. You did something that no one has ever done, and you did it with grace and dignity. Often at times when you were attacked personally. You became president of NICOM as it celebrated its 100th anniversary. And I'd like to read a letter from the resolution, which I pulled off the internet today. Legislative resolution honoring Mayor Gary Bigliante upon the occasion of the completion of his term as president of the New York State Conference of Mayors. Whereas it is the sense of this legislative body to honor those singular individuals who devote their purposeful lives to preserving the rights and protecting the welfare of the citizens of their community in the state of New York. And whereas he attended to such concern and in full accord with this longstanding traditions, this legislative body is justly proud to honor standing traditions and honor Mayor Gary Vigliante upon the occasion of the completion of his term as president of the New York State Conference of Mayors. And whereas Mayor Gary Vigliante served with distinction as president of the New York State Conference of Mayors from 2009 to 2010, at a time when NICOM was celebrating its 100th year anniversary as association serving New York cities and villages. And whereas NICOM President Mayor Gary Vigliante focused his efforts on protecting New York's longstanding and beneficial tradition for the rule and local self-determinations. And whereas throughout his 11 years on the NICOM Executive Committee, Mayor Vigliante has been an important advocate for the village form of government as the government closest and most responsive to citizens. Whereas Mayor Gary Vigliante was instrumental in the creation of the village of West Hampton Dunes in November of 1993, he was elected in March of 1994 in the village's first election and has since been reelected 4 times. His current term runs until the year 2012, whereas he received his master's degree in education from Long Island University. And whereas Mayor Gary Vigliante has been featured in many national and local publications regarding a variety of municipal issues, including but not limited to municipal creation, coastal management, including public access, endangered species management, municipal electric and gas utilities. And whereas a strong advocate of municipal home rule, Mayor Gary Vigliante has also involved in a series of successful landmark federal and state lawsuits protecting the rights of village sovereignty and constituents advocacy. And whereas he is the past president of SCOVA, Tri-County Village Association, and was proud to have served as the 100th president of the New York Conference of Mayors. And whereas with him throughout have been his wife, Claire, and their 2 children, Gary and Colette, all of whom feel privileged to be a part of his life and rejoice in his achievements. And whereas it is the sense of this legislative body that those who sustain commitment to the maintenance of high standards in their profession certainly have earned their recognition and applause of all the citizens of this great empire state. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this legislative body pause in its deliberations to honor Mayor Gary Vigliante upon the occasion and completion of his term as president of the New York State Conference of Mayors, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed be transmitted to Mayor Gary Vigliante. I'll stand for this part. Just in closing, you've dedicated your life to the service of others and oftentimes at your own detriment, but you have always tried to help members of your community, and that is your legacy. It's an honor and privilege to give you the plaque on behalf of this board and the village of West Hampton Dunes. It will be installed on the pillar at the beginning of the village, a fitting tribute, because you are a pillar of strength, hope, and that standing up for what's right was your way. Gary's way. Congratulations.
Now this is just a mock-up of what is being made. It's being made in bronze. It'll be mounted on the northern pillar entering the village for permanent display, and I'm sure it'll probably outlive the village. Also, we're going to rename or name the Constable Building as the Gary Vigliante Building.
Wow. First time. So I asked the board for a resolution, Joe. If this is the time to do just that.
So we have a resolution of approving those 2 things. And 2 privately funded plaques shall permanently be placed for display in the village, one on the pillar at the eastern entrance to the village, and one in the constabulary building located at 656 Dune Road, naming the constabulary after Mayor Vigliante. The rest of the resolution reads, in grateful recognition of more than 30 years of service of Mayor Gary Biglionti to the village of West Hampton Dunes and the community, and the achievements of Mayor Biglionti in those years of service, including but not limited to presiding over the incorporation of the village of West Hampton Dunes and having been elected as the first and only mayor of the village for more than 30 years, and presiding over the successful operation of the village under his leadership, presiding and also presiding over the successful litigation and settlement of the matter of RAP versus United States on behalf of the village of West Hampton Dunes and its residents, and the incredible rebuilding of the homes of the residents and restoration and renourishment of the beach and properties of West Hampton Dunes, and other matters challenging the success of the village, protecting and ensuring the success of the village and its residents and constabulary. Being elected to and serving as the president of the New York Conference of Mayors, representing the village of West Hampton Dunes, including on the occasion of its 100th anniversary of that organization. And then the rest is approving the placement of the 2 plaques and the renaming of the constabulary by the Board of Trustees.
Here. Any motion?
A motion and a second, and take a vote.
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second, Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
It's hard to speak.
Now, just one more thing before everybody leaves, anybody who would like to sign this, I brought permanent magic markers for your signature.
Oh,
That's great.
That's great. Well, it's been a wonderful journey. We all know how much this village means to me. We'll continue to do so. I truly believe in the practice, I truly believe in the process. I congratulate my opponents and wish them well, the new administration, the best of luck. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be on the beach every day. For the first time in the 30 years, I'll be celebrating this summer as a resident.
Relaxing.
Relaxing. But as I said, it's the process. The people have spoken. I believe firmly in the process. And I'm here to support the community as much as I can.
That's great.
And thank you. And that's the way it is. I don't know. I couldn't have been more blessed. I thank you all.
Gary, like I told you personally, the village loves you.
Thank you.
You too.
You're here.
Yeah.
Any comments from the room first, or?
I would actually like to comment here. I want to thank you personally because we would not be here if it wasn't for you for 2 reasons. One, because you physically, literally built back the beach, the road, the community, and you made it what it is today. So that, I mean, for that, I'm eternally grateful. But when Mike and I considered even moving down here, you know, we were concerned, right? I mean, it had washed out. It was, you know, we saw it in that condition and we were a little concerned. And you were the most accessible mayor ever. I remember so many times being near Mike. You accepted every phone call that he ever gave. You reached out to him personally and you constantly told us, you know, about the community and about the 30 years at the time, which seemed like a forever, went so fast. Unfortunately, I wish it was a lot longer, but you gave us confidence in coming down here. And what we have because of that, with our families, the memories, everything that we have, honestly, we do owe to you, literally. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I don't see anything.
I'd like to say something.
Sure.
I think, I was very fortunate to be able to move into this community 7 years ago. And I think we wouldn't have moved into this community 7 years ago if we wasn't all the hard work that you and your board and your trustees and Claire did to accomplish and make this an amazing community. And I came here, and I'm happy with my family, and I hope that I can kind of carry the mantle from where you left off and succeed and keep this community as wonderful as you made it going forward for the residents that are here today and the future residents, my children or grandchildren that'll be here in the future. And I hope I can live up to the legacy that you left us. And I thank you for all your hard work and dedication you did as mayor for the last 31 years and helping the village be formed and the last 40 years of work. And I thank you very much, Gary, for all.
Thank you.
Joe, you gotta have something. We're here to tell stories. We're here until we're not, so.
You know, Miss Dr. Gruber's here. And a lot of people don't realize when there were no groins, Dr. Gruber built a groin. And if it wasn't for his groin, which was next to my house, the erosion would have stopped in Bridgehampton, not in West Hampton. So we, you know, another person to be recognized, but you know.
I would like to add something that we were here before the devastation. We were here during the devastation,
Yes.
and I would like to say I never missed the weekend through all of the things that went on, to the extent that the judge at one time held court on my death. The process that was evolving.
Jack,
And
good check.
yes, as others have stated, we're very grateful for all the things that Gary put forth and made happen. And you're right, we wouldn't be here today. And I just want to add something to Harvey. Harvey said something about the plaque may outlast the village. My comment would be long live the village and long live the plaque. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, thank you. And I miss being your neighbor. But Gary, people don't real, I know I say this at least 3 times every meeting, but people don't realize when things got going, different, I won't name the plaintiffs, but the different governments tried to do away with our constabulary. They tried to get rid of our constabulary after we formed it. The comptroller's office tried to get rid of us through an arcane method that they have of evaluation. And one after another, we had different agencies try to get rid of the village as we started to catch momentum. And I think that people thought, you know, okay, go have your village, and it was just going to blow up in a couple of months or disappear, but it didn't disappear. And then one after another, agencies tried to get rid of us.
Yeah.
And which is, you know, hours of stories. But Gary always said, you know, don't worry, you know, and then it led us into wherever we have to go. And his famous saying is, it's another bully on the bully pile. There's a lot of bullies on in that bully pile. And thank you for that leadership and your support.
I've been so blessed by the friends that I've made during this journey. It's been truly a blessing. The ups and the downs don't matter. It's the end result. I'm a truly blessed man. It's all because of our community.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I'll echo what Mary said. You know, when I graduated college and I came out, I was working for a local builder. I was 21 years old when the fence was up. And I was working at the Hampton House in the middle of winter, and I heard about this community that had been, you know, you couldn't get to it, but you'd heard about it. I remember the day driving to the fence, and it was closed off, and there was a trailer there, and it was security guard wouldn't let me go any further, and I just kind of kept looking, and I really couldn't see it, but that was as far as I got. And then fast forward maybe 9 to 10 years later, I was like 21. And but I was really interested, you know, it was part of a Long Island history that I really hadn't known much about, but I've been coming out to the Hamptons my whole life. And fast forward 8 years later, we got married, and we were taking our bikes down here, and I said, let's go for a ride down to the beach. And, you know, suddenly the gate was gone and the trailer was gone. I'm like, wow, there's a road here, but there was never a road.
And what did we say? Oh, these people are fools.
Yeah, all you saw were these tiny little dunes from the road. You could see out to the ocean, you know, and we're like, wow, these people are crazy building this. What's going on? And then fast forward a couple of years later, we found ourselves drawn, and I told the broker, I said, this is crazy, you know, I'm gonna mortgage my home at home and buy a piece of sand on a sandbar that's got this history. And you called me up. You called me. I was visiting my parents, and you convinced me. You said, Mike, and that was the beginning of a friendship. And
Most people didn't believe him.
I was a sucker. And then fast forward 8 years later, through the friendship, I just loved hearing all the stories from Dr. Gruber and from Joe and from you guys sitting around telling the stories about passing the hat, moving, meeting at the bowling alley, all these crazy stories. And I got sucked in.
Yeah.
And it's been a great ride. It's been an honor to serve the village and under you. And it's been a great run.
And the stories, honestly, the stories are so amazing and they're so much fun to hear.
Yeah.
I actually think you should write. I now know
Write a book?
you need to write a book.
Yeah,
It
right.
needs to get written down. Like,
Yeah.
you have the best stories.
Yeah.
I love the story about buying the bulldozers and then coming down here and like Claire couldn't even get in touch with you because you were like out here all night long, 24-hour shifts, like pushing sand.
Yeah.
I was so mad at him because he wouldn't pick up the phone. He wouldn't call me back. He wouldn't anything.
Right?
I don't know if I was, I don't know if I was then. All I know is that I couldn't get a hold of him and I was so upset because I said, he's not even calling me back. I was so mad. And then I drove down here and I saw what was going on, the major production. I turned around and I said, oh my God, I better get out of here. You know, it was really that insane. I had no idea,
Yeah.
but they were crazy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we lost 3 of the trustees, the original trustees, George, Charlie, and Deep Bruno. It's just me and Strucker left. And
Right. But most of them have ways named after them.
yes,
That's right. That's right.
That's why I'm a little nervous about putting them out.
It's not
This is-
It's not a street.
This-
Yeah.
It's not a street.
Yeah.
They didn't have a street out there.
Yeah. This is your version of Sports Illustrated. Get on the cover of that. It's over.
Herb Hoffman.
Of course.
Yeah.
Herb,
Yeah.
Herb was a one of a kind. Yeah, I don't know if I can mention him without crying. He was a mentor, mensch. I mean, I could tell you stories about Herb,
He was always there for us.
always there.
Always. He was the one that really pushed, once we got the village going, he was the one that's volunteered everyone. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and he set everything up. And he said it right.
Yeah.
And everybody.
Those of
took
you
their
who don't
task.
know, he was our original building inspector.
He was the original soul of the village.
85 climbing ladders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? He was climbing ladders at 85 years old.
He
He
was,
also got all the money for the BBPA.
yeah.
I remember I
Oh,
was asleep on the sand and her coming over my head, going, you're gonna contribute, are you? I'm like, "We just bought a house."
he can fix anything, Herb. So one night, we got a call that my nanny, Yolanda, was in a terrible car accident. And her purse was stolen while she was unconscious. Yeah, it was terrible, but she recovered. Although it took a long time. We became her nanny.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
Because she stayed with us and we took care of her. But I said, oh my God, they got our keys, they have our address, you know what it is. So I called Herb. So, Herb, Yolanda was in a terrible car accident. What do you think we should do? He says, I'll be right over. It was about midnight. He came over and rekeyed all the locks in my house in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And that's the kind of guy he was. It was just, he could fix anything, he could do anything. Very rarely got excited. Once in a while, he and I would bunk heads, but we always ended up as friends. It was a tragic loss. But there's few of us left. And, it's hard to think about those guys.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful journey. I've been very blessed throughout it. I thank you all.
I have one from Mr. Jones that I can read today. if you
Yes.
want. Thank you for your service and enjoy your retirement with grace and dignity.
Thank you very much. Whoever you are.
Whoever.
Mr. Dudes. It's Stracker.
No, I don't think so.
Well, we're definitely gonna try to continue your legacy of care for,
I'm sure.
because that it's part of it's the management, but the other part of it is the emotional part and the connection to the village. And we were here, we
Yeah.
just bought a house, we rented here for years, we just bought a house, 6 months later, took down in 91. I remember laying on the beach, falling asleep, waiting for Chuck Hamilton.
Oh,
They woke up, I woke up, and it was because you love part of the show. I do.
You know, I don't know if we had people of age here tonight. I want to make sure.
Benny.
I bought you a little something. Love you. All right, so you guys can enjoy it.
Where you going?
A couple of minutes.
All right. Well, we have to open this up because.
Yeah, we have to share the wealth.
Yes, yeah.
Well, we put that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Gary.
That's yes.
Gary, hi, it's Kathy Maloney.
Hi, Kath.
And Alan. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but work has kept me in Westchester. But I chronicled the whole journey of this village, and you as a reporter, as you know, many times Gary came to my studio in the city and told all of the crazy things that went on, and how he even had the nickname of Gary Vigilante when he was going through all of this. Gary Vigilante.
Yeah.
All I can say, Gary, is that I've never met anyone like you. And you're a person who you tell you it can't be done and you will get it done. And I admire that about you. And I always admired the way you treat people, and you're always there for people. There's never been a call that I've placed to you that you didn't call back. And you're just an amazing person. And I just have a feeling that this isn't over for you.
I think I agree. I've spent many years here. But thank you, Kathleen, you know, we've been friends so long. We've had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, and you've been a real supporter, and you gave us good press coverage.
Yep.
So we had a lot of fun with that.
You used to save those interviews and send them up to the governor, I remember.
Yes. Yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. But
No.
I've had a habit of doing that to him. Yeah.
But I've been with you through and through, and I'll
Yes, you
always
have.
will be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too, Gary.
That it. That's it.
That's it.
I'm willing to wrap it up. Let's have some cookies.
We have, there's two budget modifications. We need to do.
Real business.
Just two resolutions to change budget lines for 2 items. Because what's happening is we're billing the attorneys, myself and the other attorney that are involved in CBA, we bill our time, and then it's reimbursed by the applicants to the village. So these two resolutions basically record that transaction, the billing to the village, and then the reimbursement to the village.
You want to read them,
The
Joe?
ZBA portion.
You want to read them?
Sure. So it's a resolution. Board of Trustees amends the May 31st, 2024 adopted budget to record billings to applicants for ZBA legal expenditures incurred for applications submitted. So that's first resolution. So we need a motion in a second.
Motion. Gary. Second, John. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.
And the second part of that is a resolution by the Board of Trustees to amend the May 31st, 2024 adopted budget to record increase legal and slash advertising regarding permit and increased interest income, but it's also including that ZBA expenditure that I just mentioned. That's the resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Mike. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
It's about a sidebar. Erwin, your inaugural celebration is going to be on Monday, and 9 a.m. is 9:30. Everybody,
Next door, 9:06.
everybody in the village is invited.
Yes, invitations and Robin put out
Great.
on the website.
Okay,
We hope you can join us.
I'll see what I can do. We're going through some stuff with her dad, so I don't know.
Oh, I was wondering.
And then at 12 o'clock, we'll pass the baton. But
Here's the mantle.
Now, the little, usually there's a little square block.
Oh, I forget what they call it, but
It's the dunes, so a little.
this is all I got.
Table.
I got some clothes breaks I can help out. Yeah. All right, I'd like a motion to adjourn. Mike, Gary, all in favor?
I.
I love you guys.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
I wanted to introduce myself. I'm.
I'll be seeing you again as next day.
Yeah.
Claire, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Claire and help us. You really